welcome to New Game Plus. I'm Tim, I'm joined by Donald. How are you?
I think I'm all recovered finally from celebrating the 25th anniversary of all things Blizzard.
Yes, it's been a very exciting weekend. Along with the 25th anniversary, Overwatch beta is back out, so I can finally...
And I still haven't got my invite as a recording, so Blizzard, if you want to watch, if you're watching this in the future, travel back to the past, because I'm sure you have that power, and just give old mate Don here a code, please.
Yes, so hopefully you at home have been lucky and got yourself a code and played some Overwatch, but...
Yep.
Going back, looking at Blizzard's history, obviously they've been around for a very long time. What's the first memory you have of a Blizzard game?
My first memory is actually borrowing StarCraft from my cousin and then going on the internet, getting cheat codes and then just scumming my way through the campaign with whatever the hell the finish the level cheat code was. Not even the unlimited resources one, the finish the level one. So you know, quality, fine gaming experiences yourself.
Well, I actually started on StarCraft as well, and then I went back to some of the old Warcraft games, but mainly Warcraft 3 was my jam. I loved that game so much. I replayed it over and over and over again, and when WoW came out, well, that was a lot of hours.
What's your /play time count now?
It's 3,000 or 4,000 hours.
Attaboy.
Yes.
And then nowadays, though, it's all about, it's a completely different Blizzard to what it was, say, 25 years ago. And we only have one RTS with StarCraft. World of Warcraft has become effectively a card game now.
Yeah.
And now they're expanding into new universes with Overwatch, and then all the universes at once with Heroes of the Storm. They are becoming an esports house.
Yes, and it will be an even better company when they announce Warcraft 4.
Yeah, good luck with that, Tim.
On the episode this week, we have the big release, which is XCOM 2. I have a look at that with Jason.
Yes, we also have a Wild West version of XCOM 2 with Hard West.
But first up, we have a comparison between PES and FIFA.
Now, it's that time of the year, well, we should technically have done it last year, but we've had enough time to play a fair bit of FIFA and a fair bit of PES. And we always like to compare them just because they are probably the two dominating for the soccer. They're the only ones in the football market.
Exactly.
So the general rule is that FIFA is more accessible. It's better because, you know, if you like all the players of Manchester United.
Yeah, it has the teams, it has the stadiums, it has the presentation.
Whereas PES is probably the more rewarding / difficult, actual soccer game.
Because it just focuses on the gameplay as opposed to getting all these licenses.
Yeah, and so I guess that's true this year again.
Yeah, the core difference at the core similarity of face value, I should say, rather, is just a lot of both these games have a lot of the same feature sets. So there's the mode where you play as just one guy, there's the mode where you pay real money to make up a team, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so it has be a pro, be a GM, which
it has the ultimate team, that kind of stuff.
Which is stuff I'm used to from NHL, where they really honed that and kind of brought that to the forefront. And so it's good to see that become an industry standard.
Yep.
Because it is probably some of the more fun modes, teach you to play the position, stuff like that. But I guess back to the original kind of discussion, it's pretty true again. FIFA is a much easier game to play.
This year, they make a big deal about FIFA is meant to be really accessible. There's loading screens and trills everywhere to kind of teach you, okay, this is how you play the game. It's just kind of keeping your skills up.
Even before every match. They'll put in a thing where it's this is how do the goal kicking one or do the dribbling one.
Yeah, there's even a new thing they hype up called the FIFA Trainer, where just you toggle the right stick and it shows you, if you're at a specific position in the field, it tells you, hey, this is how you pass, this is how you, the controls you need.
Yeah.
PES doesn't have any of that. PES is just here's a tutorial, hope you got it memorized, good luck!
Yeah, because so the way PES works is it's more modifiers. L2 adds a lob to it, R1 adds aggression, I'm using example, but it's more about those modifiers.
Yeah.
As a result, it's a far more tasking game.
It's work in a way, but if you're willing to kind of stick with it, if you're willing kind of just to practice and go match after match, maybe losing or scoring or going goalless, it's a lot more satisfying. To me, scoring a goal in PES was me more satisfying than scoring a goal in FIFA.
Because you know that it was you outplaying the opposition.
I worked for it and it was just damn, it felt good.
So I guess, again, FIFA, it's great with your mates, it's great if you want all the teams, it's great if you want all that, but as per usual, PES is the more difficult, the more gamer-focused soccer game. So horses for courses, pick your path.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so when it all comes down to it, we have two video games on the 3DS. That is the Mystery Dungeon series, as well as the Etrian Odyssey series. You mix them together, and you get yourself Etrian Mystery Dungeon. Now tell me, Charlotte, is it truly a match made in heaven?
It is. I'm actually a huge fan of both Mystery Dungeon and the Etrian Odyssey series. So when I heard they were coming together, I was so excited. And this game is actually really good. So it takes the Mystery Dungeon crawling and throws an Etrian Odyssey skin on it. So you've got Etrian Odyssey characters, music, aesthetics, you've got the skill system, you've got the same classes.
So when it all comes down to it, there's a lot of games that have had that kind of Etrian Odyssey / kind of mix-up thing going on where they mash mechanics together, most notably Persona Q, Shadow of the Labyrinth. Now, is it now becoming typecast, or is it does it incorporate a few things to make it feel a bit fresh and a bit new?
I think it does incorporate a few things to make it feel a bit fresh. Yeah, so this game is on the 3DS. It's definitely a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it, especially there was so many dungeons to explore, and they had so many different environments, and all the characters that showed up all made it pretty nice as well.
So when it all comes down to it as well, I mean, both of these games are very heavily dependent on procedurally generated environments. Are there a few things that carry over, including FOEs and things like that?
Yeah, there's FOEs, and they work a bit differently. They'll basically work up through the dungeon, and if they get all the way to the end of the dungeon, they'll destroy the town, and that's not very good. There are things you can do to stop them. You can throw forts down. You can to halt their progress, or you can just go out and destroy them if you want to.
Sounds pretty good.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, when it all comes down to it, there is some choice involved as well, and you can choose to engage stronger enemies as well as weaker ones. You can kind of pick and choose your battles. With the Mystery Dungeon, it seems that you're constantly chased by enemies.
Well, actually, because you can throw down the fort, they'll run into the fort and then run away. Yes. But yeah, it's really good. There's lots of customization, and it's just a really long game. There's the post game will double or triple the amount of game you played. So this is definitely, if you think this game looks like it'd be good for you, you should definitely pick it up because it is excellent.
Highly recommended for Mystery Dungeon fans and Etrian fans?
Yes, especially Mystery Dungeon fans that give them a bit of a taste of the Etrian Odyssey.
Nice. Go pick it up, guys.
Yeah, it's excellent.
Now, we've done movie segments in the past, but now we're going to do something a little bit different. It's called Crossing the Streams, where we have a look at different streaming platforms, whether it's Netflix, Stan, SBS Movies, or even Twitch, and sort of talk about them, maybe do some reviews, but just see what we're liking. And this guy is a little bit out from a trailer park.
Jesus, Ricky. So for those who don't know the 2% joke that I'm making, and I've spent the whole 30 seconds setting up, is Trailer Park Boys is on Netflix. Simply because they've released the new season of Trailer Park Boys on Netflix. Now, I subjected you to Trailer Park Boys.
I watched the sort of most of the first season, and the first episode I'm like, oh man, this fucking sucks. And then I sort of got into it a little bit more, and sort of the characters are endearing, sort of unlikable but endearing.
Yes, well, I've met every single one of them in the areas I grew up in. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can see characteristics in all of them that I've met in people.
I feel out
in my
of place.
Yes, yeah.
I feel out of place.
Yeah.
When we talk about Trailer Park Boys.
Anyway, so I think that's what I enjoy about the show, is that under it all, under the veneer of white trash, macho gun shooting,
it is a half an hour comedy about some interesting characters.
Yes, and so the new season's okay for a Netflix show. You know, Netflix tends to put the ends on you like, guys, the episodes go for too long. That's a problem this one seems to suffer from as well. But I would still argue there's 7 seasons of the other ones. There's the movies, and then there's a new season. Plenty to get lost in, and plenty to enjoy, I think, about the Trailer Park Boys.
I've watched the first 6, 7 episodes, and I'm keen to watch more. So you made me watch that, and I made you watch a documentary.
Was it a documentary?
Yeah, what? Why?
Isn't that the Kurt Russell movie that everyone's going on about?
Yeah. It's definitely that one. I love documentaries. I love documentaries about things that I don't care about, because a good documentary makes you care about something you didn't care about before. Yep. Whether that is something like Vogue magazine, which is the September issue,
or Global Game Jam, or
yeah, shut up. Or baseball. I've seen a game of baseball once.
It's boring as shit.
Yeah, well, I've done it once and I wouldn't do it again.
Yeah.
We decided to watch The Battered Bastards of Baseball.
Which is based on Kurt Russell's dad.
Bing Russell.
Basically, it's not run out of Hollywood. Like, he loses his job on Hollywood, but he loves baseball. And so he starts up the only minor league team. Yeah, independent minor league team. Because all of them, like the VFL and AFL in Australia, which is probably the most analogous kind of thing I can think of, is tied to an AFL team. So every VFL team is tied to an AFL. Every minor league team is tied to a major league team.
So basically, no one would support the minor league teams because if there was ever a good player, they get moved up.
Yes.
So how do you support the club? until this independent team came with some oddballs and some weirdos and people too old to have any business playing baseball. But they did, and it's a fantastic story.
Like I said, if anything, it makes you feel... It really is the underdog story. And it's funny because Hollywood actors are the underdogs. That's how you know it's done a very good job of bringing it to you. So we'll be back next week with some other stuff. It follows?
Yeah, we might check out Stan and see how that goes.
Well, it's the anniversary of Duke Nukem 3D at the moment. And well, it started off in 2D originally, didn't it?
Yeah, so the original first two games were 2D platformer, kind of shooter games, a bit like the Contra series at the time, similar to
Commander Keen.
Commander Keen was another one at the time. You go around, you shoot baddies, you collect key cards to unlock other sections of the game, and you pick up in barrels and crates and things like that. But then it moved to 3D after the advent of Doom and those kind of games.
Yep.
And a lot of things changed when it moved to 3D.
Well, it took a different approach to the other games, and at the time, you got to remember back in the late 80s, early 90s, all the male heroes in movies and popular culture were like Arnie, Stallone, Chuck Norris, and all that. Really hyper-masculine, muscly, gun-toting things. And Duke Nukem 3D decided to basically be a parody of that sort of trope of male hero at the time. Yeah. And it was funny, and it was also very risque. It did very different to the other games.
It was actually rated R18 overseas, but when imported to Australia, they actually slapped the 15
plus on it.
Plus sticker on it.
And it was quite controversial at the time. It had level setting strip clubs and things like that.
Yep.
You could actually give strippers
money
and that. So it was really pushing some boundaries there. But it was like I said, it was a parody of other ideas that were being used elsewhere and making fun of it. And then its sequel, which came soon after, probably suffered from coming along at a time when that sort of trope had gone away, and our popular culture male hero had changed a fair bit.
So when Duke Nukem Forever came along, all those movies had changed. They weren't around anymore. The big, huge, muscly, gun-toting hero wasn't around. Unless it was being parodied itself in other movies as well.
Or the Expendables,
where
they all came back. And so our heroes were like superheroes and things at the time.
Yeah.
And
so
the
thinking hero.
And people who played Duke Nukem Forever, people that like the old game probably got it and enjoyed it, and it had a bit of stuff for new people as well.
Yeah.
But I think there was a lot of new people that got into the series that probably didn't see it as the parody that the older gamers thought it was.
Yeah, I agree with that because the generation they grew up with didn't focus on those movies as much, and they had different kind of culture, a different kind of outlook on a good movie at the time. So,
attitudes in gaming have changed.
And attitudes in gaming have changed. So, when it stayed to that similar formula, it kind of missed the mark with the current generation.
Still fun, still enjoyed it, and there's a new Duke Nukem coming out, or at least announced that they're thinking of making a new Duke Nukem. That will be very interesting to see where that goes, considering some of the debates we've been having in gaming in the last 12 months.
It'll be very interesting to see where the series goes after this.
Yes.
So I'm here with Jeff. You're the lead director for World of Tanks?
A lead designer for World of Tanks.
Lead designer, sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Thanks for the promotion.
No problems. So tell us a little bit about your role.
So as lead designer, I manage all the other designers, and we coordinate all of the features we want to do, we think we want to do, and what the players are asking us to do into like a giant list of priorities and all that stuff, and then work with all of the artists and engineers to make that stuff happen as we keep improving World of Tanks on PS4 and the other platforms.
So coming from a game like World of Tanks, which was a pretty big PC release, how many issues did you actually have moving it to a console, and especially like PS4?
How long do you have? So there is a ton of issues, honestly. Like moving a game as complex as World of Tanks to the console, like you're going from a monitor that's super high resolution that's like right in front of your face, more or less, right? And a keyboard and a mouse that basically comparatively gives you unlimited inputs to a joystick, a twin joystick, which I think has 14 buttons, I think, and a TV that's about 7 feet away from your couch. You have to consider a lot of stuff just in terms of controls and readability and all that stuff, even before you start asking like just the boilerplate stuff of like, how is this going to run on the hardware? How do our servers work? So we had to give it a lot of time thinking about like, what does a console audience want? What does a PS4 player expect from a game, so that they can get into the game, get into World of Tanks on the PS4, and be excited about it without taking away any of that depth or complexity or stuff that comes with World of Tanks, which was what keeps people coming back and why it's so exciting.
So the other issue that I think a lot of players have with, I guess, a online game, especially console, is that you don't expect a free-to-play game to be on a console. So what kind of issues did you have in that area, especially like maybe with Sony and Microsoft? Did you have any issues bringing it even to the table?
So the biggest thing is would it be successful on a console, right? Like people, I mean, we are not the first. I'm never going to claim we were the first. I will say that I'm pretty reasonably sure we're one of the biggest right now. But there's honestly a certain percentage of people that have a stigma against free to play. They're like, oh, you're gonna let me play for 20 seconds, and then a pop-up's gonna appear saying, give me cash to keep playing. Or conversely, you're gonna like the game, but then you're gonna feel like you're gonna keep getting beat up because somebody who's a wallet warrior, I believe is the term, is just paying to win, and you're getting crushed. And so what happens there is you either don't get a player at all, or you lose them really quick if they think they're being cheated. You pile all that on top of what is a console player's expectations. As console players, as a general rule, like whenever you generalize, you risk like alienating some people. So that's not my goal. They have a more like, show me where the fun is. I want to know why I want to play this. Why is this worth my time right now? So what our honor is to convince all the platform holders, Microsoft first and then Sony, like, no, this can work, this can make revenue. I mean, because we have to keep the lights on, right? Eventually it comes down to that. Players will love this. They will keep playing. We will keep getting more players. Then we had to go to the players and say, like, no, really, this is a good game. You should play it. And if you never want to give us a dime, never give us a dime. Like, I sincerely mean that. If you want to just play and never want to spend a cent, great. I love having you on there. Keep being vocal about what you want to be different, because it's a very social game. And then the people that are in it for the long haul and maybe even are monetizing say, like we call it free to win. So everything that might actually influence the actual win-loss, like premium ammunition or some of the consumables, also have a silver equivalent, and silver is our resource that you can earn. You don't have to spend any hard cash on. So we make sure that everything is available to everybody. You get in and you have fun if you decide to download it, and you don't hopefully ever feel cheated. So those all kind of mix together into a big design soup, and we got it wrong a million times until we finally threw a bunch of play testing, or like, I think we're ready, and then we started beta testing it, and now here we are, where like thousands of people keep joining every day, and it's really exciting to see them come in and give the feedback.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Now, with the re-release of Doom, I'm pretty excited.
Well, I think you're the most excited. You got all the excitement out of the two of us for the upcoming Doom.
Yeah, even looking at the multiplayer, which is not something that Doom is known for, looks very Unreal Tournament, and the campaign trailer which we just saw was ultra violence at its finest.
Yeah, but I don't know, for some reason I feel like it's still taking itself a little too seriously, even though it's supposed to be over the top, but it still just conforms to every sort of schlocky metal cliche that one could possibly imagine.
Yeah, and the first-person shooter thing being a lot of melee finishing, and I'm worried that there's going to be too many like long animations of finishing, just showing off the new id Tech. Which is probably the main reason why they're doing this game, to show off their new engine.
I'm worried personally that they're gonna just try to play too hard to the nostalgia demographic. As in, I fear what their remix of the first level Doom music is going to be. Because you know they're gonna do that, and you know it's gonna be some form of awful.
Yeah, but speaking of old games, looking back on their originals, like Wolfenstein did very well recently, so hopefully they can emulate that.
Hello, Commander. It would seem your recent activities have gotten advanced.
Now, Tim, XCOM is a series that I love. I love it. Like, I've played all the way through the recent adaptation, which was XCOM. I can't remember what the subtitle was.
Enemy Unknown.
and then Enemy Within was the second one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, moral story is I played it heaps. Iron Man modes, the whole shebang, because it's great strategy. It's great, like, tactical squad-based strategy, but with still the overworld view of having to maintain resources. XCOM 2 comes out, which provides it with a unique opportunity because you haven't played XCOM 2. XCOM 1, sorry.
Yes, I've played a very small amount of it, but coming into XCOM 2 is my first go at the series.
So what are your first thoughts? Like, what are your first thoughts coming into XCOM 2?
Other than the fact that the head of the Resistance sounds like Optimus Prime, it's a very good, like, I'm enjoying it a lot. The slower strategy of the title just really gives me a good game to play and take my time with.
And I think that's probably the big thing that differentiates itself. In the year that it came out, it got so many Game of the Year awards. In the year of console shooters and, you know, crazy over-the-top action, because it was so just sound, you know what I mean? Like, and even, because you couldn't even game the system by, like, resetting to a checkpoint and going in, because it wasn't that moves were preordained, but certain outcomes were preordained.
Yes.
So, like, so you had to fight against the clock. One of the things that comes into the new one is the fact the story has changed. So it's not the invasion has started, it's the invasion has been successful.
Yes.
So it's a little bit kind of Falling Skies, Half-Life 2. It's that same kind of idea of now we are the rebellion.
Yep.
Whereas before we were like the defensive army, now we are the attacking army.
And it fits really well with the small squads. You're going around the world map, just having a look at little places you can raid, pick up supplies, hit enemy strongholds, all that sort of stuff. And the way it lends itself to the game is really good because all the squad customizability, you can really get into it deep on the harder difficulties and choose how you're going to approach the situation.
Probably the only thing that kind of makes me say they've gone for a little bit kind of back of the box stuff is the character customization, because you could always customize characters in the sense that you could give them a nationality and you could give them certain, like make them female, male, and it was fun because it was simple and a name, it was fun. This you can make them like full hardcore sick COD ghost characters with like bandanas and stuff, and I mean realistically they're probably going to die. So don't spend too much time on it because then you're just going to be sad. And like, at least this one, they kind of, like, you have a bit more of a memorial and a character log and stuff like that. So you can see where that's a little bit of backwards. Plus, only on PC, this is one of the few games where you can get away with it being on consoles, I think. Do you know?
I think so.
Because it's not like StarCraft where you need that kind of, you know, the APM, you need that kind of particular precision.
Yeah,
you don't need that in this.
It's certainly, you can use it with a controller. I would say that it's the control scheme itself lends itself to a controller. It's not StarCraft, even though that a lot of the menu and how they present the story is very reminiscent of StarCraft as well.
So XCOM 2, solid game, especially if you're a fan of the genre.
Now, XCOM 2 seems like it takes a couple of steps forward. It simplifies a lot of the menuing that was in XCOM 1, and the ability to ambush the aliens, it adds another level of strategy that XCOM 1 didn't have. But at the same time, it takes a step back, Paula Abdul style, doesn't it, Tim?
Yes, it does. There's a few performance issues, and this is pretty close to launch, so hopefully it'll be fixed. Long loading times, but they do a pretty good job of hiding that sort of stuff with, there's always something happening, whether it's a cutscene or an area in which loading is happening. So they do a pretty good job at that, and it makes it a little less obvious, even though the load times are pretty long.
Are we talking like, say, because this generation load times have been pretty bad, to the point where like Bloodborne, for instance, was infamous at its stuff, like 40-second, minute-long loading times between areas.
It's
That's
not
enough time
that
bad. To go make a cup of tea, forget about that cup of tea, make 2 more cups of tea in this manner before getting back to your game.
Yeah, I do like it as well for a couple of other reasons. One, it's a very good game to binge watch TV shows while you're playing, because it's very slow and tactical. You can always come back to it, and how it's very similar to StarCraft in a way. It tells its story. In the little ship thing, you've got the different areas of the ship where you go speak to your research people, your engineers, and it even has like a little bit of Fallout Shelter as well. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, just not the sort of compositeness of Fallout Shelter.
Yes.
But whilst you're waiting for Fallout Shelter and for XCOM 2 to load, there is a lot going on in Melbourne on the weekend that you are watching this on TV, isn't there, Tim?
Yes, so White Night is obviously happening in the city, 20th of February.
Yep.
But before White Night, there's the Couch Warriors ranking battle, and they will be celebrating the launch of Street Fighter V at CQ in the city.
Be sure to check it out, and afterwards make your way down to Acme Lightwell, where we will be hosting a whole night of video games and frivolity.
Yes, so if once you've had your fun at White Night or after the ranking battle, certainly come down. We're playing games to 6 a.m. which is normal for us.
So if you want to live the life of New Game Plus, do check us out.
Yes, that's it for this week. Visit our website, www.newgameplus.tv.
Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/NewGamePlusTV.
Follow Twitter and Instagram at New Game Plus TV.
And follow us on YouTube and Twitch. We are New Game Plus TV.
Thank you, Donald.
Thank you, Tim.
We'll see you guys next week.